This is Jim Nailon, liturgical guitarist. I'm going to share my arrangement of the hymn Hosea by Gregory Norbert, who was a Benedictine monk in the Benedictine Foundation of the state of Vermont. And I'm going to play through it first, and then I'll go back and talk about it. But a quick note, I'm capoed on the first fret because this guitar is tuned down a half step. So it puts it back up into the normal tuning range. So you don't need a capo. Excuse me. Starts out with this little optional intro, harmonics. Second verse, page 2. Well, I got most of it. I missed a few notes, but I'll bring that out as we go through it. So, if you don't know how to do harmonics, I'm not going to, you just lightly touch on the, so let's go through that real quick. The first note is you play the harmonic on the 7th fret of the 4th string. And then the next note is on the 12th fret of the 1st string. Of course, playing a harmonic, you're just simply, and I don't have my close-up on here, but you can see it in the big picture. You just lightly touch it at the same instant. You touch right over top of the fret at the same instant that you pluck the string. And then the third note there is the 7th fret of the 2nd string. You repeat that, and then you repeat the whole thing again. And then the last, when you hit 2 notes together on the 7th fret of the 2nd and 3rd string. Okay, so the actual song then goes, you're playing a D chord. Off a D chord, and then a G, and use your 2nd finger for the bass note and hammer on with the 3rd finger. And then this is sort of a D chord, you hit in the F sharp with your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. So, and you want to bring out the melody notes, especially on a measure like this, where the melody is That's all the melody, and the rest is fill. So, and then melody. See, it's, so you'd hammer on here on this. This is measure 10. Hammer on first finger on the second fret of the fourth string, then hammer on with your little finger or third finger, and then move your first finger right over to the second fret of the third string, and then you get into a D chord here. So, and then you're going into the refrain. Long have I waited. So the A chord. And you're going to get this half bar on the second fret, and be sure to put that down. You got to get that down all together. If you put that down too early, you're going to mute the open E string here on the upbeat of 2. So you don't want to do, you don't want to gap there. So be careful putting that half bar down. And then reach your bar while your little finger's playing that 5th fret of the second string. You're going to lift that bar up and just move it across to where you can get the bass note, the B, on the second fret of the 5th string. And then into this E. And you want to, that, so that in the start of the third measure, that line, measure 13, yeah, measure 13, you want to hit that melody note really strong. It's a long have I waited for your coming home to me and living. So that's the live. You want that note to be nice and strong, and there's no bass under it. The bass comes in a half a beat later. So coming off the E chord, and give that some vibrato even. And then the second verse, it's got a double hammer on here. So you're going to hammer on with your first and second fingers here on this D chord. So you hit the bass string, the 4th string, and the open 3rd and 1st strings, and then hammer on. And little figure there, hammer on and pull off on the triplet with your second finger. And then again that double hammer on. Now a pull off on the D, get a D sus4 here. And then bring your first finger over to get the bass on this G chord, because you're also going to do another double hammer on here on the 2nd and 3rd strings. And you got to hit that down hard. If you haven't done that before, that might take a little practice to get that down. I mean, I've tried. It's not easy to do. I get it sometimes with the normal G fingering, but use your bass here. And then you got to lift them off. And then this D again, you're going to do this hammer on. You melt it. And then those fill notes don't need to be as loud as the melody. So let's take that first line again. Melody. fill, melody, fill, melody, fill, melody, fill. And then measure 9, second line there on page 2. Same thing. And then this time you just use your second finger on the bass. You're only hammering on one note. You're playing 2 here, but you just hammer on the second string up to the 3rd fret. And then you're going to do a little inner voice there using your 1st and 4th fingers on the 3rd string. So your 1st finger plays the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then you hammer on to get the note B. You hammer on to the 4th fret, and then back to the 2nd fret, and then lift off, and then you have to get the open 2nd string there. So you have to lift your melody note off at that point. So your 3rd finger's playing that note. I missed that. I think I missed the bass note or something in one of those runs there when I was playing it the first time. So anyway, let's look again. Go back to measure 22, 21, the G, and you want to keep this note. But that's your melody. This is just like a fill, like you got some little sideman playing a riff on the guitar for you. So that needs to be softer, but it also, when you hit this, it's easy with you put your little finger down to touch the 2nd string and deaden the melody note. So you want to be careful. So and then that the last measure, the measure 22 in that line, you hit the bass note at the same time as you're hitting the 2nd fret of the 4th string and going into that hammer-on. And I guess I should say also, I write my arrangements to be more of a sketch, to give you some ideas. So that's why I'll do a second verse often that's got more fill, more interest, I suppose, more little frills and doodads and things than the first verse. The first verse I try to keep fairly simple. So if there's any of these little riffs, like say that G chord that you have trouble with, that's not a riff I normally would use. I actually just put that in when I was arranging this. I thought, oh, that sounds nice, and so it's something that I can begin to add in my playing then from here on going forward. So I put these things in to teach you, to give you the opportunity to learn some other riffs if you don't know them, and sometimes I'm teaching myself too. So we're all trying to become better guitar players to serve God. So So if all those little frills and hammer-ons and pull-offs aren't your thing, then simplify it and do like the first time you do that in measure 6 on page 1. You can play it that way every time if you want. I mean, you don't have to throw in variations. I just do that. That's this is my style. So take it or leave it. So anyway, then going back into measure 23 after the same as before, but just this little hammer-on the A. And I didn't finger that because if you've listened to some of my other tutorials, I don't finger A chords because everybody plays it different, and I play it different than most people. So half bar and then to the full bar on the B minor, the E. Same, we've already gone over this. Just like the first verse. And then you go into the harmonics again. And I didn't write it, but if you want, you could do on the antepenultimate note. Yeah, the next to last is antepenultimate, I think. If you're a pedaleophile, sesquipedaleophile, yeah. So you could do hit the double harmonic there, and then the last time hit all three strings, the fourth, third, and second, on that fret. That's what I did, I think, in the recording at the start. Yeah, a sesquipedaleophile is a little word I made up. Sesquipedalian means a long word, so a sesquipedaleophile would be a person that likes big words, like antepenultimate. Look it up. So anyway, that's all I have on this hymn. I pray God blesses your playing. Also, if you've gotten this far in the video, consider looking at the new Facebook group that I just started called Liturgical Guitar on Facebook. And it's a place, it's going to be, I envision it as a forum for guitar players to ask questions and support each other. Anything from things about the guitar, technique, electronics, recording, or, what are you doing for Mass this weekend? What songs you're using? Just anything to help each other out as liturgical guitarists. So give that a look. And if you like that idea, join the group. Anyway, that's all I have. Pray God blesses your playing, and look for more arrangements on liturgicalguitarist.com. Peace.